Now, as global leaders met at the United Nations General Assembly last week, giving speeches and working out relations, on the sidelines was something happening for Sierra Leone. Senegal's international music star Akon met with Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio. At the end of that meeting was a power investment plan that could see Sierra Leone receive 5,000 solar streetlights and 2,500 traffic lights.
That's exactly it. The interest of the businessman and pop star for electrification of Africa dates back to a few years ago. In 2015, Akon launched the ambitious project Akon Lighting Africa. According to several Senegalese press articles, the initiative, whose pilot project had been launched in his country of origin, Senegal, is still slow to materialize. However, it's operational in 16 African countries.
Il est cependant opérationnel dans 16 pays du continent africain.
We now go to Freetown, where we have our correspondent, Eric Kawa. Eric, good morning.
Hello, Jerry. Good morning, and thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you with us this morning, Eric. Music star Akon is planning a solar investment program for Sierra Leone, basically to light up the country. How bad, first off, is the light and electricity problem in Sierra Leone?
Okay, Jerry. Sierra Leone's electricity supply can be described as sporadic at the moment. About 90% of the power supply is restricted to the four cities of Freetown, Bo, Kenema, and Makeni. Many of the rural areas still lack access to electricity supply and are left in a state of blackout. The former government worked on some solar projects to provide electricity to some rural communities in Sierra Leone. However, more electricity is needed. At the beginning of the first 3 months of President Bio's first 5-year term, the electricity situation in Sierra Leone was not stable. There were frequent power interruptions in the capital city and major areas that had access to electricity. However, in June this year, a 2-year utility grid infrastructure and the electricity supply agreement between the government of Sierra Leone, represented by the Ministry of Energy, and a Turkish company called Kawa was signed for the generation of 30 megawatts of electricity in Freetown, in Sierra Leone, by the way, at a reduced rate compared to previous contracts. This agreement represents an annual savings estimated at $9 million per year for the government. If the agreement extends to 3 years, international energy experts have described this agreement as the best energy contract ever signed in the country.
Interesting, Eric. But will 5,000 solar streetlights and 2,500 traffic lights do this for Sierra Leone? Will they be enough to support the government?
Well, 5,000 solar streetlights aren't enough to light up the whole of Sierra Leone, but that's a very good start for lighting up the country. I think it's a wise decision taken by Akon, considering the fact that Sierra Leone only has a limited number of streetlights and few traffic lights constructed by the former APC-led government after many were destroyed during the civil war. Street lights and traffic lights contribute greatly to a country's infrastructure. These can also help in terms of security, as there will be reduced crime rate. Street lighting and traffic lights also improve safety for drivers, riders, and as well as pedestrians, as it will help to hunt down reckless drivers. So I think at least it's not too enough, but we can at least have a start up with that.
Yeah, and just quickly, what do you know about the time frame of this project? When is it likely to kick off?
Well, that could not be determined now, but I hope it gets started as soon as possible, because that could be a major step towards Sierra Leone's infrastructural development. The government wholeheartedly welcomed the initiative, and photos of the president and the artist were seen on social media at the United Nations General Assembly, where they held discussions on how to start and implement the project. However, details as to how the project will operate and the areas to benefit from the project are yet to be discussed, since information was made known recently at the United Nations General Assembly. During a courtesy call on President Bio in New York, Akon praised him and stated that he has been very impressed with his leadership. President Bio thanked Akon for the support, and he invited him to Sierra Leone. He also called on Akon to help the government in rebranding and marketing the potentials of Sierra Leone to boost tourism and attract foreign investment. Sierra Leoneans also received the news in good faith, and they hope that the project will be effective and sustainable. Jerry.